Hi, you're listening to Honestly Friends podcast where we talk about life, love, friendship, and the culture. Hey, Day, what's going on?
Hey Lee, I'm good. I'm good. What's going on?
Nothing. Really quick in this episode, I wanted to talk about how we as women need to shoot for the stars and don't listen to them other people. And let me tell you what I
Period.
mean by that.
I agree already.
We happened to be talking in one of our numerous weekly calls, and we were talking about a topic that we'll get to in a moment. But in doing that, we realized as a result is that our families are pretty supportive of us. And we also realized that we needed to be grateful for that because that is not something guaranteed. So in the midst of us talking about it, we were like, I may have a crazy idea. I can shoot it to my people though, and they'll be like, I mean, okay, girl, I don't know how you're going to do that, but they're like, all right, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, yeah, that actually happens to us too. And I'm like, but you know what? I don't think that happens all the time. And how we need to be grateful for that. And maybe because from being the fruit of that, we tend to be also, you and I personally, when things are brought to our attention about someone's ambitions, we're never like, oh, but what about this? What about
Yeah.
that? Are you sure you want to do that? We're usually like, I mean, if it's
Go
on your
girl.
heart, do it. And that's exactly. Now, don't ask me how to do it because I do not know. But if you need help, I can help you. You just want to tell me how to help you. But
Right.
I say that because, particularly as Black women, I don't think we get that type of general love and light in that world. And it makes me sad. What do you think?
Well, just with like general support. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
It can be as simple as that. Mm-hmm.
Um, I have mixed feelings on it. Like you mentioned,
Okay.
like I think our families, just from what I've heard of your family, but my family, like they're always super supportive of anything I say like I want to do. I'm just like, I think I'm gonna do it. And they're like, okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Do it. Tell me about it later. Right. I do feel like sometimes, like as Black women, I do feel like we do tend to get support. Usually I think our support comes from other Black women when we are
Mm-hmm.
doing things. Like now, of course, we all know about like the hater trope of life where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone is not gonna be supportive, but I do think that we get a lot of support from like other women, other Black women when us women want to do anything. Now, where
Yeah.
I don't always see support is from people that are not Black women.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets like real choppy for us in terms of like our ambitions and what we want to go for and what we want to strive for and how we want to live our life and stuff like that. That can
Right.
get choppy depending on who we're talking about in the topic, or who we're talking to and the topic we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about that. But was there something specific that you had in mind in regards to it? Because I think this is a broader topic and it
Mm-hmm.
depends on the support that we're looking for and what we're trying to like talk about in
The
general.
specific reason why we even got into that situation was a few weeks ago, Tyler Perry got exposed. And I'm going to say exposed because
He exposed
it
himself.
feels like it should have been an expose about how he was suggesting Black women to conduct themselves in trying to find a relationship. And you actually brought it to my attention. And at first, I didn't want to read it because I like Tyler Perry. I like his movies. I love his movies. And so I don't like to see things disparaging about him because I think, or I was of the thought, I'm still debating on how I feel about it, that he does great things for the Black community, right? So I didn't pay any attention to it. But maybe like a day or two later, I actually watched it and it left me upset because in my opinion, he was wilding. And the part that upset me was that we as Black women should rethink and recalibrate how we approach dating our counterpart Black men And specifically, if he's able to do everything else for you, but not for you financially, that should be okay. And he gave an erroneous suggestion, like even if he pays the light bill, I'm getting upset just thinking about it, that should be okay. And then I was like, have you lost your rabbit ass mind, Tyler Perry? And this is from someone who adores you. You know, I think I'm of the thought that you're doing really good things. You know what I'm saying? And I was disappointed and I was hurt. And I was like, nah, I don't even know where to go with you, because I've heard other disparaging things about him and I brushed it off, and those were terrible too. But that was just making me rethink it. And I'm vexed. I'm so vexed. I do not understand how you can fix your mouth to say some difficult, rude ass shit to me like that. That was so disrespectful. Because the average light bill, I would say, is $200, at least in our area. I don't know about other regions, but I can say mine is $100. So you mean to tell me if he could pay $100, I'm supposed to be like, that's it, we getting married? That's so disrespectful. And anybody who has said, oh, I don't think that's what he meant, I always have the rebuttal, and it makes them really quiet, is that only Black women are told, and correct me if I'm wrong, to deal with this shit. White women are not told to do this by their white men. Hispanic women aren't told to do this by their Hispanic men. Arab women are not supposed to do this by their Arab men. Down goes the line. But Black women specifically are told to deal with this bullshit. And they have nothing to say to me. And I'm like, and that's what I meant. Because excuse me, how dare you? $200 is all someone is required? Like, why can't you rise to the occasion? And that's what women are telling people. And the counterparts are upset. And it's just like, well, why won't you just let me pay the $200 light bill? I'm like, no, miss me with that. That's fine. Go pay $200 somewhere else. And I'm not saying you have to be rich. I do not believe in that. I think two people can make a financial plan if they really care about each other. Because I've seen it. We've seen it in our own friend group. Nobody here is super rich, but you look up and you're like, damn, y'all doing good for yourselves. We have seen it. So it's very possible. But I ain't like that. And now I'm just like, fuck you, Tyler Perry. That's how I feel.
Okay, that escalated rather quickly.
I posted that on my social media, my personal one, and I was just I think people were like, oh, why your feelings hurt? Because my feelings were hurt. And they were like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, and it was everybody like just saying, oh, well, why are you shocked? And yeah, that's messed up. And yeah. And I was like, it is.
Well, you know, I have been saying for a very long time. Let's bring Tyler Simius Perry. I don't know what his middle name is for real, to the front.
Don't care.
Don't care
at this point.
And I always make up names for people anyway, so that's just what I do.
That's so disrespectful.
Me and my two thoughts. I am not a fan of Tyler Perry. I admire Tyler Perry's work ethic and his drive and his ambition to get where he is right now. Because correct me if I'm wrong, it's been I so don't like Tyler Perry's movies and his things anymore that I kind of just, you know me, erase. I don't really remember. But if I'm not mistaken, I think at one point, was he homeless? Am I making that up?
Yeah, no, you're right. He was.
Okay. So he was homeless. So I admire his drive, his ambition for himself, the fact that he's made something of himself and he does provide, to your point, jobs, and he's created, something for the Black community where it showcases a lot of Black people and Black talent and all that stuff. I think that is amazing. However, I do not like Tyler Perry's movies. I have not liked his movies. I've not liked his stuff in a very long time because I have felt that his movies portray a very negative stereotype of Black people and Black relationships, because a lot of his stuff is relationship based. And so I've not been a fan of Tyler Perry. So to your question about how I feel about this, I'm not surprised. that Tyler would say something like this. His movies highlight
Why aren't you surprised?
sort of rhetoric. His movies highlight these sort of like weirdness and rhetorics and things like that. Like back when I was a fan, back when like the Medea movies like, you know, were popping, like back when like when it was the Medea plays, like, you know, it was a lot of dramedy, like lots of drama, lots of funny laughs and stuff like that. And it was just like, okay, that's cool. And I definitely feel like plays have to have like a certain level of drama. But when it came to his movies, what I noticed a lot of was like trauma. Tyler Perry makes a lot of trauma porn, like in my opinion. It's a lot of things I don't like. It's always some stereotypical black stuff, some stereotypical like just craziness. Like it's either the deadbeat baby daddy who Bow Wow played in, I think, Medea's.
He wasn't deadbeat though.
He was a drug. He was trying to sell drugs.
He wasn't doing it at that point.
Well, he wasn't doing it at that point, but he was doing it at some point. Like, so it's just the idea of that, like, that's such a black, I don't know, thing.
It was
like,
more Tiana Taylor's character was the deadbeat. Like she was the mother, but she was just kind of
she was, and then she was,
and Lauren London was deadbeat because she wanted Bow Wow to become a drug dealer.
Right. Like all of those type of tropes, like when it comes to like black situations, and in that particular
it's just the worst
movie,
of the worst. Yeah, like the woman like, catches AIDS
always
in several of his productions. She's getting her ass beat. Then she got to run in the street in the middle of the night, half
they
clothed,
homeless or living on the street with the babies. Somebody in a family done touched typically a little girl,
and
Bow Wow's mom.
Yeah, and so they make her have the baby, but they raise up as it's just like the worst of the worst. You're right.
It's a lot of trauma, and it's not specific to black people, but like after a certain period of time, I checked out of it because I was just like,
you don't resonate.
I don't resonate. I don't resonate with
that's true.
The overly ghetto stereotypical like weirdness, and I feel like a lot of people actually don't
that
resonate with that
goes wrongs in his movies. It's very true, and I don't know, just like our like music which is terrible. We're the only community that has music that's disparaging to our own selves. I think a plurality can detach it and like, this is not real life. But there's also another plurality that says, no, this is how life is supposed to go. So then it's like, why put this in the zeitgeist?
You know, I personally feel like, I don't even know what the saying is, like if it's art that imitates life or life that imitates art, but either way it goes, I feel like it becomes a cycle. And I feel like the more that you see those type of tropes like out there, especially in the black community, like the drug slinging, deadbeat person, husband that brought his wife's best friend to the cabin with like everything doesn't make sense. Like that doesn't make sense. Like why did I get married? Bad. Like it was just so terrible. I'm like, because like in reality that wouldn't have even happened, because in what reality are you going on a couple's trip with all your friends from like what, college, and you're bringing your one homegirl that nobody else knows that's apparently sleeping with your husband on the trip too? It's like Tyler Perry makes some movies that I'm just like, why did these sequence of events even occur like this?
Every bad thing that can happen. Like 10 out of 10 things happen instead of like maybe 2 out of 10.
Like all the time. True. Like he's like, I'm gonna up the ante all the time. So after a while, I checked out of his movie. So after like hearing this thing, and I think it's with the woman, beautiful woman, Crystal Renee, on her podcast. I think it's Crystal Renee. Oh my gosh, I'm so terrible with names. And people. But you know, I know she's on his show, Zatima, I think is a show, and then Sisters or Friends or something like that. Well, it's not Friends, Sisters or something like that on BET. So he was on her thing saying that, and I wasn't surprised that Tyler Perry would say that, but I do feel like
That's
It was
just such
weird and
bad
wrong.
advice. It is
was terrible
such bad
advice.
advice. Like, excuse me. And then it's just like, I do not personally have a rule for myself. I don't take advice from people who are not where I want to be. And Tyler Perry, now I'm about to go in on you. You are nowhere I want to be relationship wise. Period.
That's that's true.
I've seen you in one public relationship and she had your child and you didn't marry her. And that could be several different reasons. That's none of my business. But again, where you're at is not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to talk, so shut up. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is it just made me think about like our families, and it made me think specifically about relationship advice I have gotten. And I have always been a rebel. I've always kind of marched to my own beats, and I don't really care if other people like it or not. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and a lot of times it is unconventional. And I remember a few years ago, almost 10 years ago, I believe, my aunt had asked me about like, oh, Elise, like, what are you, what's going on? You dating, girl? What, blah, blah, blah. I was like, nah, not really. And she was like, oh, okay, like any particular reason? I mean, I do date, blase, swaze, but I'm waiting for a particular situation and I don't see it. And I went on what personally, because you're my friend, I just be going off on my rant. Like, I'm not putting up with this and I'm not putting up with that. So blah, blah, blah. And my aunt is a demure woman. She just like took it all in and was shaking her head. Probably her eyes was big, like, oh, you're very expressive about what you want and what you don't want. And I feel like she's demure with her men, so she's not forceful like that. And so she was, after I went on my little soliloquy about what I wanted in a partner, she didn't look at me like, girl, you ain't never gonna get that. You are out of this world. Like, who
settle.
You're looking for, like, that man doesn't exist. You better your standards are too high. And you ain't never gonna find a man, so you need to lower your standards so you can find a man. What she told me was that she paused for a while and she said, okay, baby. She's like, you know what? You're gonna find it. But what I will say, because she didn't lie to me, she was like, it's gonna take you a little bit longer. So if you're willing to wait, you can absolutely find what you're looking for. Absolutely. But I guess because she has also seen the pool that I was dealing with, she was like, there aren't a lot of men out there what you're looking for. They are, but you're going to have to be okay with passing up guys, being passed up by guys. And I appreciate her so much for that, because for me, it did happen later. And even if this don't work out, it's still gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, she told me, do not settle. But she told me to be honest with myself and to be realistic. But she was like, you can get what you want. You can shoot for your stars. Absolutely. But she didn't sell me false promises either. And I was just so appreciative, because I could be dealing with a Tyler Perry ass auntie.
Right.
And I'd have been
better settle
like,
for somebody that be coming by sometimes.
Yeah, and I think about she's not the only one, but I just remember that conversation. But all the women in my family, men too, like, they be like, mm-mm. And if they did see me, they'd be like, who is this person? But something ain't right. You need to check this. You need to think about this again. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just like,
I think that was
shoot for the stars. They've always told us, girls and boys in the family, like, if y'all want to do something, you could do it. It's going to require X, Y, and Z, but they don't just shut down your dreams. And I just feel like with little girls, everybody's in particular, but we were little girls at one point. It's just like, I don't think we get that in our community. And I go back to anybody who wants to rebuff my argument that what he said was out of pocket. And I'm like, do little white girls deal with this? Do little Hispanic girls deal with this? Do little Arab girls deal with this? Do little girls from India deal with this? No. And a lot of those cultures, the women are valuable because they come with a dowry. You know what I'm saying? Like, a man got to step to them correct.
Depending on the culture. Depending on the culture, sometimes the woman comes with a dowry, or sometimes, and I mean, not that I'm saying that this needs to happen. Other times, the man literally needs to prove to the family that he can provide for their child before she goes.
Exactly. She don't come with just herself. She comes with a pedigree. She comes with people who have done things for her. So y'all can set y'all life off as one together with something. Yeah. Okay. And we don't do that in American culture, but regardless, each person in a relationship, the man and the woman, or the women and women, if that's what it is, and the men, everybody comes with something valuable. So you can't just tell someone to just pick someone off the street because they halfway go to work. Excuse me?
Not halfway.
Like, and that is, it's just like, why would you tell the biggest demographic that supports you to settle? I just think that was so disrespectful. And
I agree.
The reason why I wanted to talk about this is I want to put it out there, like, whenever, because we as women in our 30s, 20s, or 40s, we still have dreams that may seem impossible, and people that you care about may kind of push your dreams down, and they may not mean to. So this is maybe Tyler Perry, me thinking that maybe he didn't mean this, but he's somehow thinking he's being practical. Practicality. Go for what you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody saying that to you, I wanted me and you to be able to say that to them and have that in the air. Go for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you want someone to just pay $200, I'm not knocking you. But only do it if that's what you want to do. Not because someone told you that's what you should do, because baby, you're going to be old
lonely
and gray and lonely. You're going to die alone. First of all, women may be by themselves, but they tend not to die alone. It'd be the men that die alone.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, because women know how to create a community, even if it's one person. Okay? And we'll be alone with nice things that smell good and can cook. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that threat of like, you're going to die alone and buy a cat, die alone, bitch. Okay. That's fine.
It'd probably be happier than
say that in an effort to, like, they think that's going to scare people. And how is that working for them? You got other men telling
well, they're trying to scare people. Like, they're trying to scare women into be like, oh my gosh.
Let us only pay $200.
No, that was wild. That was wild. So, number one, shout out to Auntie. I don't know which Auntie that was, but that was solid advice. I love that. When you told me that she said that, I said, this is a word. This is a sermon. This has hit me in my heart and my spirit. I love that. Because it's true. Like, sometimes if you want a little bit more, you have to wait a little bit longer, and that's just what it is. And just the Tyler Perry thing, the advice, the idea, like what Tyler Perry said, what I heard him say was, you might have a good man, and it's just like, what is good? What is good? That's so subjective. If you have a good man that pays your light bill, and like you mentioned, your light bill is about $100. Mine is on direct deposit, but it's somewhere between 100, like 87 to 120, depending on the season.
Exactly.
But like, we're in like apartments and stuff like that, condos. For someone that's like in a house, like a regular house now, not a mansion, like maybe yours is 200 something, maybe 300 something, depending on the season or whatever the case may be. Like, I wanted to know so much, in what world do you have a grown man? Because I think different advice is given to different people at different stages in their life. So if we're talking about somebody that's paying the light bill, I'm thinking we're talking grown people here. At what point do you have a grown man that's living with you that can only afford to pay the light bill? Like, I honestly, I wanted to be like,
exactly,
Tyler, Simeon, Terry, like, come to the front, because I need to know his situation. Like, what's his situation? Is it that he has a lot of student loan debt or some type of debt, like emergency room debt, where it's like,
I had a lot of student loan debt. That's not an excuse. I'd had.
You did. Okay, you did.
So what's up?
I mean, I just, I like to just try to understand. Is it that he's diligently working on paying off stuff?
Just normal. I had a lot. So normal is different than a lot. So miss me with that.
I just wanted to understand.
Most likely they don't have a lot. They have normal, different levels.
I just wanted to understand, Lee. I'm just like, I know there's different situations. As a woman that's Jamaican, just say I was born in Jamaica, I'm American citizen now. But like, I know that sometimes, like, maybe you're with someone that isn't a legal citizen person in the country. Like, they're an illegal. So like, everything they do is under the table. Like, is that what we're talking about? Because different situations, like different things apply in different situations. I'm never going to knock somebody's situation. If you happen to be with someone that's trying to become legals, but they have to like work under the table, which means that people be trying them, like when it comes to getting paid and stuff like that, I'm not going to tell you to not be with that man or whatever the case may be. I just need to understand, how long is he only paying the light bill for? Like, And why is he only paying the light bill? Because I find that to be such crazy advice to give. To me, what I heard Tyler Perry say is settle for a piece of a man. You ain't gonna have somebody that's really helping you out, but girl, if he's a good man, and like I said,
that
good is subjective.
Is analogous to what some, in particular, Black girls, because we're talking about Black girls, they get that from their family as well. Mm-hmm. Versus white girls, I've read plenty of articles, or not articles, but like rebuffs to what he said. There are non-Black women that are saying white girls are taught to get married.
They're
get married.
Taught
so
that,
why aren't Black girls taught that?
We were even taught like not taught. We were talking about like the fact that a lot of white girls go to school to get their MRS degree, right? Their Mrs. degree. Like they literally go into school so that they can get an educated man, which, you know, the assumption behind helps that is like
socioeconomically.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like you'll get someone that has an education that will make decent money or whatever the case may be. And so to then for Black people, specifically Black men, to tell Black women, like specifically Tyler Perry, which it baffles my mind, honestly, with Tyler Perry, especially because that is a Black man that went from when we talk about like poor, whatever, like he was homeless from the lowest low to the highest high. Like, is he not like a billionaire or like very close to it at this point in his life? You would think the advice, right? You would think the advice that he's given is, guys, if I could do this, you guys could do it. Rise to the occasion.
And guys, I see y'all are the one who are getting the short end of the stick because y'all are not where y'all need to be socioeconomically. This is what I would do if you want to attract these women, because they're not with it. And you have to rise to the occasion. So instead of telling the people who need to rise to the occasion, you're going to tell the women who have risen to the occasion to stop?
No, sir, you're lower it down here.
Excuse me?
For love. And I feel like different things can work for different people. I feel like different things can work for different people. If you're good with what it is, then that's fine. But to give out blanket advice in that way, and a lot of people aren't making millions of dollars, right? Like most people are just living comfortably enough. Like if it's a 2-person household, You say
nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, if it's like a 2-person household, like maybe you're hitting 100,000, you know, or more together as like a family unit. If you're you know, single, like you might be somewhere between the range of 40,000 to maybe upwards to 100,000, but like you're, you know, 40,000, maybe 50,000 is where most people are, 60,000, whatever. And so it's not like he's giving this advice, because he was talking to, like I said, the Crystal Renee girl, and I don't know what her money looks like. I didn't check or anything like that. I don't know what her money looks like. So for someone like her, maybe she makes like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on an episode or per season or whatever. Like she's making really good money. So for her, she may end up being with someone that doesn't make as much money as her because she makes a lot of money. Like I do think it might be harder to find someone once you make a certain amount to find other people that make that amount that you have a connection with. I understand that. But if we're talking about like the regular girls out here, like people that are making 50, 60, 70, 80,000, and you're saying, okay, but be with somebody, if he can pay the light bill, if he can pay $200 a month, hold on to that man. Tyler, what we talking about? Because why can he only afford $200 a month? Like, where is the rest of the money at? Like,
what are you doing?
What's happening? Like, I'm really trying to wrap my mind around, like, what job does he have?
What do you do so you can only afford $200 a month?
Because you know what that tells me? What that tells me is if that was my situation and that was my man, if I broke up with that man, he would be homeless because he can only afford $200 a month, which means that he can't get his own place on his own. If he not living with somebody, that man is living on the street. Because in what world, like I can understand if you can't fully afford rent, especially in today's climate where like a freaking 1-bedroom is $2,000, but people getting paid like $22 an hour. Like,
and then when I had a 1-bedroom was like $900. That's crazy.
Yeah,
$2,900.
I can understand not being able to fully like pay for everything, and then you guys get together and you split things down the middle or whatever the case may be. But to literally say like he can
And make
only
a plan
afford
to be
light
somewhere different in 5 years.
at some point, because what are we doing?
5 years. Like, yeah, no, you know, things can change.
Or less, you know,
Yeah.
5 years or less. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like the idea that he can only afford a light bill. And then he said, if he a good man that can afford to pay the light bill, he didn't put a money, money amount on the light bill, but I'm just going to say $200 and occasionally take you out. If you are only paying $200 a month, you are taking me out like every day. Cause where is the rest of your money going? Because I refuse to believe you only make $200 a month. So where is the rest of your money going? The rest of it got to be coming back here to me because I'm paying the rest of the bills. So the rest of your time got to be dedicated to make sure that I live good with you, that I'm having fun.
Think. And then my mom always told me, if it don't make sense, it don't make sense. Cause like if you only have $200 and you're working, you got some type of vice. It's drugs, alcohol, gambling. Because $200, why your money don't make sense? What job are you make $200 a month?
What is the job?
And then you
Tyler,
can't take me
come to
out.
the front.
Oh my god,
Tyler, come to the front. Tell me, what is the job?
$200 a month.
So like, what is the job? Because unless that particular man is with a woman who lives in a mansion where her light bill is $1,500 a month, I don't understand it. And most people aren't paying $1,500 a month. I hope not. Because where y'all living? What y'all doing?
Probably,
like,
but they're real rich.
But they're real rich, and they're not having this conversation. So once again, this conversation trickles down to like people that are making like, you know, regular money, like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
Regular, we making regular money. You want us to
and
go
you making
lower
irregular
than
money?
That?
Your money is real irregular.
I'm real regular. I'm so regular, and I'm okay with being regular. But don't.
But no, but I don't.
Don't be disrespectful to me.
I don't want nobody that's making irregular money. Like, cause why is your money?
No,
like,
I don't want to go down
strange. That is strange.
Because baby, that money's going somewhere. Mm-hmm.
It's going somewhere. That money sounds like it's going to another family because.
Oh no.
No, because where else could it possibly be going? If you only have about $200 a month to pay towards my light bill while I'm paying the rent, the water, or mortgage, what other bills come up? The internet, the cable, the Netflix, the everything else, our car notes. If I'm doing all of that,
car note, yeah,
and you only pay $200, it's like
savings.
Either your situation has got to be extreme. And I understand that if you have some type of not weird, but extreme situation, like crazy amount of debt that you're diligently paying off, and that's where the rest of your money is going to because you're trying to wrap that thing up in a year or two. Or, you know, maybe if you have a disability or something, like for some reason you can't work right now, or maybe you can't work for a longer period of time, but it's understandable. But I just need to know why it is what it is. Because if you are a regular able-bodied person and the most you can contribute to your household is $200, I don't understand it.
Yeah, and that comment plagued us as American Black people. I don't know about the stance of Black people elsewhere, but it just championed the surviving mentality. We don't have to do that anymore. 60, 100, definitely 200. We did have to, but we need to actively and intentionally get out of that. And his comment was from a surviving type of mentality. No, we can let go of that a little bit. There's always work to be done, but I'm trying to thrive. It's not going to take survive. Why would I do that? Because on my own, I'm thriving. But you're saying you need to survive. I'm thriving on my own. I'm not going to just be with someone to survive. Like, well, you got to think about it as a whole. Y'all got to help each other. I don't have to do that. I don't.
Got to do
and I'm not going to do that. And the result is they're not doing that because I'm pretty sure that snippet he said is not going to change the men that wish it would change their predicament. They're still going to be, I don't know where they at, if they're at their own house or somebody, their mama house, or
they got or homeless.
the
don't
women
got
are still not going to choose them.
Yeah, no, because
or the women they want, or any woman for that fact. Like, no.
Listen, as a woman that pays her bills by herself, I don't know how to say this, but no, I'm not about to be with no man that can only contribute to my light bill, because I can already pay my bills by myself. What I need, what I want is someone that's going to either help me split it or just take it over. That's it. Because I feel like the stress that brings on a relationship, like, unless, like I said, there's different things for different people, unless the dynamic is that the woman is really just this breadwinning person, and the guy, you know, he pays his $200 a month for the light bill, but he's also like the house manager. Like, you know, he takes on the role. Typically we would hear housewife, but he takes on a house husband role, but that works for them. Like, because she's highly ambitious or whatever, and that works for them, then that's beautiful. But I feel like that conversation, that advice was just really off-putting. It was really off-putting, because all I heard was, women, just settle. If you want somebody, just take what you can get. If he can only do this, just take what you can get. And this whole idea, and I'm never a fan of it, this whole idea of a good man, a good woman, a good anything, good is subjective. It's subjective per person. What makes a good man for me, or what makes me a good woman, may not make for anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, people have...
Yeah, and baby, I'm looking for my cup runneth over. I'm not looking to survive. I want the overflow. Okay?
At all. Like, I have too big of a dream for myself,
my own,
to be out here with somebody that don't have an imagination. So
my partner, man, husband, together we need to have an overflow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I want my cup to overflow with. That's biblical. So yeah. You know, no sir. Talk about $200 is not overflow. That's like, all I know.
$200 is like, I guess I'll pay for something over here. Like, I just feel like that. Okay, like, I feel like that's just, he's just like, dang, so to stay here, I gotta do something. And all right, here's like, $200.
I've always been someone to dare to dream. I love to dream. And I'm just like, that's not my dream. I don't want that. I don't want that. Like, so, ew, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like, Tyler, what are we talking about?
Please let little Black girls and Black women dream.
And stop limiting us.
About some $200, and that should be okay. No one's telling a white woman, Hispanic again. Woman. I will say this because that negates every rebuttal someone tries to tell me. Until y'all start doing that to them, when we tell y'all to STFU about that, I don't want to hear it.
No, period. Like, yeah, we definitely need to stop telling Black women,
shoot for the stars.
They gotta settle
and ignore them people. Black girls, Black women.
Whatever your dream is, go for it. If it works for you, it works for you. But don't make somebody tell you that something should work for you that does not work for who you are. Period. And
the person that cares about you will rise to the occasion. And if they don't, then they're not the one.
Period.
That's it.
Period. So yeah, guys, what do we think about, like, that whole light bill situation? Okay, because I thought that was crazy. And do you agree with us? I hope y'all do.
I hope so. But do y'all agree with us that we need to shoot for the stars and ignore the rhetoric that is given specifically to Black women to not shoot for the stars? Girls, shoot for them stars and ignore them people. Let us know at Honestly Friends Pod on Instagram, and honestly on YouTube. Drop down in the comments and let us know how you feel. And until next week, we will see y'all later.
Later.